Page 19, lightly row. The 2 pages prior to page 19, they're introducing intervals. You can do those on your own. It is kind of important to know and understand what intervals are because we use them in describing things about music. So you need to know what they are so you can understand what we're talking about. Fortunately, intervals are really easy. Right? It's simply an interval is the distance between 2 notes. Okay, so let's start on middle C. That seems to be the most convenient. And I can get any interval I want simply by counting up or down the keys. Now we're only using the white keys here, right? Okay, so if I want an interval of a fifth, all right, I'm going to count up 5. Now when you count intervals in music, you start 1 is the note you're on. We don't have a 0 in music. You start with 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is an interval of a fifth. You can do an interval. If I do an octave, oct meaning 8, that's an interval of an eighth. Okay, and those are the easy ones to get because those are the letter to the letter. C to C is an octave, an interval of an eighth. C to C, D to D, E to E, it's the same letter. It's just up or down, they're octaves, all right? And I do 7. 7th is like, how many, I'm too lazy to count 7. But I can go from 8 down 1, because 7 is right below 8. Sounds terrible, but that's it. And that's a 7th. Now, the note by itself, interval of a 1, is called a unison. Okay, that's what that is. It's a unison. And we have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. And you can go above it. Okay, if that's 8, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. Okay, there is no limit, really. It's just distance between 2 notes. So you can count them out. So when somebody says, yeah, now do this a fifth above that, an interval of a fifth, you can figure out what they're talking about. All you got to do is remember all that junk I just said and the stuff that's on pages 17 and 18. Now on page 19 we get to play a real piece of music. This is an arrangement of it, but I don't care, it's still a real piece of music. You will notice they don't put any counts in there. Normally you don't. The numbers you see are the finger numbers. For the right hand, they're above the notes. And then the top clef, they're above the note. And in the bottom clef, they're below the notes, right? Those are finger numbers. So it's telling you in the right hand at the beginning, do you start with the 5th finger, right hand on G. Well, if you do that, that's your position. In the left hand, you've got 2 notes to play at the same time. Good luck with that. You have a C with the 5th finger and a G with the thumb. That is to be an interval of a fifth. It's a very common interval. Now, when we play 2 or more notes at the same time, try not to just use the fingers to get them down with, all right? We'll get into that later. That's more advanced junk. What you need to do is put your hand in that position to push those notes down and then drop the whole hand and arm down. So both notes go down at the same time. You're really using that to play the notes. You're not trying to do it with the fingers. The second measure, it's an F and a G with 1 and 2. Now they don't put them directly above each other because there isn't room. They get in each other's way, so they stagger them slightly. But they're touching, they're right there together, so you play them at the same time, just the same. Okay. Try and get them down at the same time. Listen carefully to see if you do. I struggle with that, I really do. For some reason it's hard for me. Hopefully you do better than I do. Now that's what I had to say about that. So let's try lightly row. It's in 4/4 time. Oh, they've added a dynamic in there. Isn't that nice? And they've added words. Well, again, I think you need to understand all these things. They're throwing several new things at you all at once here. Let's talk about them. We're going to talk about them more and more as we go through the book. Okay? We're introducing them now. At the beginning of this, between the staves, you see a P, whichever way P goes. I think we're backwards from each other, I don't know. That is what we call a dynamic indicator. It tells us how loud or soft to play. Okay, and you can have these things all over the place. Now, P stands for piano, which is Italian for soft. So it means soft. Play it softly. How soft is soft? Well, I don't know. And frankly, I really don't care. It's all relative. It's soft to you, right? Your soft and my soft could be different. I've had teachers who insisted, oh no, that's just a hair, it was just a hair too loud. You know, give me a break. Soft is soft. I felt it soft, leave me alone, all right? So you're going to play it soft. Now, what do you play soft? If I play like this, on the, let's go to the third and fourth measure, the third line, and I play these like that. I played that loud, but the point is, well, I can play it soft. That's fine, but not good enough. All right? Ugh, don't do that. There is a term that I use in music a lot. I'm going to throw it at you now as if you don't have enough to think about. And I'm going to throw it at you a lot throughout the book because I consider it really, 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 really important. And the term, or the phrase I should say, is bring out the melody. We want to hear the melody over everything else. And in piano, you can control how loud or soft each key is, each note you play. The melody in this piece is in the right hand all the way through. Therefore, I want to play the right hand a little louder than the left hand. So if I play those last two measures of the first line again, and I play the right hand louder, I bring out the melody, it's this. Right? The other hand is, that's backup, right? So keep it in the background. When they give you a dynamic here, like P for soft, that refers to the melody. Now people will make the mistake of saying, well, let's see, how soft can I play the accompaniment? And I'll just play the melody a little louder than that. No. Wrong. No. You decide how fast or how loud you want to play the melody. What's soft? It's not very soft, and it can get a lot softer than that, so it's not super soft, it's just soft. And however loud you decide that is, you play the accompaniment or the rest of it under that. Okay, that takes practice, and you just as well start practicing it now right along with everything else. So play the melody a little louder. I call it bring out the melody. Okay. One more thing, as if you didn't have enough. There's words to this. Lightly row, blah, 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 blah. So you can sing it if you would like to. I ain't singing it. Forget that. But if you want to sing it, you go right ahead. Maybe after you've learned it, you'll go back and you'll sing it. If you enjoy singing, by all means, go for it. One last little thing. I just will explain everything to you. There's slurs in this. See the first two notes in the right hand? Well, you're going to play them that way anyway, even without the slur. But they want to make sure you understand that's a slur. Now, what I would suggest, what they're not telling you, is that when you have these things at the end of the slur, when you're done with it and you go on to the next note, put just a hair of silence before you play the next note. Now, when it's the same pitch on piano, you have to, because when you lift the key up, you're going to get silence. So the first measure, there's a little bit of silence between the E's automatically, okay? But between the second and third measure, those are different notes. So I could connect them if I wanted to. What I'm saying is don't. Put a little silence there. much more musical that way, and just get in the habit of it. It's a phrase. Some books will say at the beginning of a phrase like that, the slur, you've lifted your hands up right before for the silence, and you drop the hands at the beginning of it. So in the second measure on the half note D, when you're done with it, you're going to lift the hand off the keyboard slightly and then drop it on the C. Gently, you don't want to drop, it's just gently, so it takes a little practice, but it's kind of fun once you get the hang of it. Just as well stick that in there too. If that's too much for you, all that junk, then save some of it and go through the book again and again, and each time you'll pick up more stuff. So let's do the lightly row together. I'll give us 4 counts and we'll play it. The right hand goes here, left hand here. When I play with you in these videos, I don't do the dynamics. I don't do the louds and softs. I want to play it loud enough for you to hear me, so you can hear all the notes. 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 4.